I don't know. I just feel like I had to say something like, bro. So Charlie Kirk died, and a lot of people have mixed emotions. Of course, you got the Kirk fans who just acting like he was just sane, just perfect Christian man, family man. Then you have people, who. Well, there's really three people, because you got people who are celebrating his passing, but then you have people who just simply, like me, I simply don't give a fuck. Like, you know what I'm saying? But by saying that, I feel like there's people who is trying to make people feel bad or trying to force people to give a fuck about his passing. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're not a Charlie Kirk fan, he's nobody to you. He's just another dude that was spitting, you know, MAGA propaganda, white nationalist propaganda. You feel me? He was a man who was spitting half truths to college kids, and you know, I honestly don't understand, like, why the fuck would I be pressed about somebody I don't know dying? Like, no disrespect, like, okay, anybody dying is sad, period, but the fact that this man was racist, not borderline racist, but really racist, he his own record saying that he don't trust black people flying airplanes. He was calling a black lady out and calling her incompetent and saying that she was as smart as her white counterparts and needed affirmative action to get to where she needed to go. And that's another thing with affirmative action. Well, in DEI, right? So this DEI shit is crazy because they try to frame it as if, hey, you can become a brain surgeon as long as you black. You feel me? As long as you black, we just gonna grab this random black person and we just gonna make this a brain surgeon, right? They act like it's like a skip through the line process, like a motherfucker don't have to train, don't have to go to school, don't have to learn. So, you know what I'm saying, go through all the ropes of anybody else to get where they need to go. But they love to bring us statistics any other time when it comes to negative shit, but don't never bring us statistics when it comes to explaining, things that were positive that was set in place in America to make America more equal. For example, if, the majority is around 60-70% Caucasian, right? Say if 10 people, we just gonna use a simple as little hypothetical. If 10 people apply to that job, right? And out of the whole 10 is 8 are white and 2 are black. Just statistically speaking, those 8 white boys statistically had a higher chance of getting picked for that job position versus those 2 white boys, right? Versus those 2 black boys. So that saying, if we going back to Jim Crow times, and this is another thing because they're like DEI is just racist because it just, cancels out white men. In reality, white men have a DEI system. It's called the good old boy system. It's called, hey, my father know this guy, or my father own this business, or my family member own this business, or my father went to this school for so long and he's alumni here so he can get me into here and get me into these places. Or like, we don't, people act like, well, and specifically black people and people of color, like, growing up, we already know it was hard for black people of color to get in certain positions, within the corporate world, to get at certain jobs. Like, DEI is put in place to not only help people that were put down systematically, but even number-wise, though, right? Not only are we oppressed systematically, especially back in the early 1900s, we were a minority, obviously, right? So when people go into hiring folks, obviously they're going to pick other people before they going to pick the black person or the Mexican or whoever else. That's just common sense. But people just act like Jim Crow never happened. People act like people aren't biased. That's another thing about like modern racism in America, bro. Modern racism and modern racists, they like to be racist and pretend racism don't exist and call you racist for mentioning racism or calling them out on racism, right? Like, they will say shit like, hey, well, if you stop talking about racism, then you won't be affected by racism. Which is the dumbest shit ever. Considering America is a race-based country. Like, when you fill out a job application, When you fill out, application to go apply for an apartment or a house or whatever or wherever the fuck you finna go apply for, they gonna ask you, are you black, Caucasian, Native? They gonna ask you these different things or your ethnicity. So America still live on a race based system, right? Like not only we can go back to the 1800s, but we specifically speaking in 2025. America still practices race-based system. America still purposely divides its people up. So people like to say, well, if you stop mentioning race, then racism won't exist. America mentions racism every day. When you go open up a bank account, they gonna ask you, are you black, white, native, or whatever else. America racism still exists every day. Now, it might not be used how it was used once before, but America, to the very core, don't promote unity, right? America wants people to know, hey, you're something else before you're American. We aren't all just American unless we are outside the country. But if we are in the United States, we're African American, we're black, white, Chinese American, we're this American and that American. Like, we aren't just American, period. So I just don't understand how people just act like race is just a made up concept in minorities' head, and that we just living on the past and shit when it's still present and still here. And then they like to act like Jim Crow and shit was just so long ago. Like most people, it's a lot of people who are still out of there who lived during Jim Crow, which is the craziest shit ever. Like, you know what I'm saying? So to just the fact that people like to minimize it and try to make it seem it was so long ago, it's just retarded. Like I ain't gonna lie, like. And like, so when we look at Charlie Kirk and shit, bro, it's just like the man promoted division. He, in my eyes, was an agent of chaos. I feel like, he was the physical embodiment of like 13-year-old internet trolls. Like he was their voice. You feel me? If you could go into Call of Duty, Xbox 360 Call of Duty, goddamn lobby, Charlie Kirk would have been in there. Charlie Kirk is the living embodiment of like racist 12-year-old white trolls. I swear to God. And that's why he focused so much on the youth anyways, because anytime you see Charlie Kirk go to like these more, higher intellectual universities, he got exposed for just simple things. But when he going to these universities in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of corn fucking fields, with kids who probably never even grew up around other people who didn't look like them, these 18, 19, 20-year-olds, it's easy for them to digest these half-truths. Because Charlie Kirk, again, I honestly feel like he did believe a lot of shit that he was saying. But he, at a certain point, became a paid agent of chaos. He was working to promote this Heritage 2025, this MAGA propaganda. You feel me? He was like these whole past couple of days, we have seen how much they didn't try to just cause division between everybody. Like before I even get off the Charlie Kirk situation, I just find it crazy how the FBI arrested. Well, up to this point, the FBI had arrested 2 people, but both persons weren't the shooter. So, to my knowledge, as of right now, because no news release, to my knowledge, they still haven't found the real killer. But for some reason, Donald Trump and other politicians and just media people and people in general took it upon themselves to say this was a Democrat, this was a liberal thing. When we don't know who the fuck did it. This could have been another Republican. This could have been another person, in MAGA who didn't agree with, some Israel takes. This could have just been anybody. This could have been somebody from the government inside. It's theory saying that the government, the CIA, the FBI, whoever set him up. It's videos of a man doing hand gestures, playing with his face. And it's saying that he was signaling something. So I just find it crazy how not even a whole 24 hours, media had the nerve to try to label this a Democrat, a liberal thing, right? And honestly speaking, they really was hoping a black nigga, a black dude was the shooter. You feel me? If a black person was the shooter, they would have loved that shit. They would have got what they want, cause what they want to fucking start a race war, bro. They want to start a race war. I'm finna, you know what I'm saying, get on the thing about the Ukrainian girl, but they want to start a race war, and just so happily, bro, it wasn't a black person. So the next best thing they can use is, oh, it was a liberal, it was a Democrat. You know what I'm saying? So they want to keep feeling this Democrat versus Republican mindset, but in reality, bro, it's a rich versus poor. Because let's say Democrats, liberals, conservative, MAGA, whatever, went to war against each other, right? Once they finish killing each other off, it's still gonna be the elites at the top, still fucking off the remaining people. You know what I'm saying? So the idea that this shit is really a democratic versus liberal thing has been bullshit from the very start, bro. And it's like they keep on putting out things. They keep on putting out things to continue to fuck with us, to continue to keep us distracted. You know what I'm saying? They don't want us to talk about Epstein. They don't want us to talk about what's going on in Israel. They don't want us to talk about all the laws they done put in place that's finna have us, slaving 9 to 5s. That's finna create a permanent working class. They don't want to talk about all the things that they're doing against the American citizen, against the American citizen's best interests. So they keep on feeling bullshit. Like, so when it comes down to like this Ukrainian girl, bro, like, I'm seeing theories now that hell that might have been some stage shit. I ain't seeing it. It was, but I'm seeing theories that the Ukrainian girl was some stage shit. And if it was some stage shit, that just goes to show you how they keep trying to fill this division shit. But if we going with the original story of what's going on, a deranged man, a mentally unstable man, killed this Ukrainian refugee or whoever on this train. You know what I'm saying? This whole administration, this whole year been anti-immigrant, but obviously we seen with the South Africans, when they say immigrant, they just mean immigrants of color. They don't mean white immigrants. If you're a white immigrant, you're welcome over here. If you're an immigrant of color, watch out. You know what I'm saying? But so this deranged man, mentally unstable man, did some wild shit, and if this whole thing is real, he need to go to jail for life. Death penalty, I agree. But this deranged man killed this woman. It wasn't because of nothing racially motivated. It wasn't because he, was with some organization, some Democrat liberal organization or some pro-black organization. It wasn't because none of these facts. Because they was saying that he was schizophrenic and he was talking to himself before and after he did it. So he was a deranged man. It wasn't because he hated white people. It wasn't because he had some kill white people motive. It wasn't because of no political motives. Because he was a deranged, retarded man. I don't know if I can say that word, but he wasn't stable, right? But it's like as soon as that whole story broke, Donald Trump, he make a fucking post, he make a video about it. But I'm like, bro, since when have the president ever just focused on random murders? If a white American man would have killed that Ukrainian girl, Donald Trump would not have comment on it. But it's like anytime something race related or sexuality related, it's like anytime something happened, they exploit it. Even if it don't have nothing to do with that person's sexuality or that person's race, just because it looks like that, bro, they take it and exploit it because they want people to keep fighting. You feel me? And it's just like the moment that whole story broke, you got people coming out talking about some, yeah, we finna get murals painted all across America for her. But I'm like, first of all, she not American. She probably ain't been in America. If this is a whole real situation, by the way, if this theory ain't fake, she probably ain't been in America no more than 2 years. You feel me? She ain't did shit for America. She ain't, you know what I'm saying, did nothing for the culture of America. She just a random woman who, unfortunately, was in a crazy situation. But we have people within this administration who use race and other tactics to keep people divided, and they took that situation and they tried to use it as a rage baiting tool. I mean, well, race baiting tool actually. They put it out there and they dog whistle. They post shit with racial undertones. You know what I'm saying? And any little thing that happened, they try to use it as a reason to call out right oppression, or they try to use it as a reason to justify some crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? So they trying to use this whole Ukrainian girl as a race baiting tool, and and the Charlie Kirk situation, it feels like that, but because like I said, the shooter wasn't black, they gotta go with this whole liberal Democrat narrative. When in actuality, this story's still breaking down, but it looking like this shit might have been some inside shit. You feel me? It probably wasn't, you know, it probably wasn't just no random liberal, no random, conservative person just doing it, right? And honestly, bro, like, I feel like that's the case, bro. Motherfucker owe people an apology. Because not only is folks trying to put people against each other, you know what I'm saying? I feel like if this is what I'm saying it is, this need to be the moment like people just really wake up and be like, damn, time after time after time, they find ways to run game on this. They find ways to try to divide people, you know. Like, it's sad that Charlie Kirk lost his life. You know, he found a lane doing what he doing. I don't agree with it. He, like I said, I feel like he was an agent of fucking misinformation. But nobody needed to lose their life. Nobody need to die. But I mean, in reality, when we look at America's past, bro, nobody gets into that lane. Nobody gets into a controversial lane like that and step into the social activism, the social political world without signing that contract saying this what comes with this life. You're gonna, especially when you're doing that Charlie Kirk level, when you're basically a fucking promoter for a presidential administration, you're gonna have people who are very upset with you because of what you represent. So when you go down them lanes, that's something you sign up for. But I guess in America, that's something I guess they look at as a hazard when it comes to black people doing it. I don't think Charlie Kirk ever thought that, hey, me going to these college campuses would ever put me at risk, because Charlie Kirk promoted black on black crime. He misinformed it, you know what I'm saying? We can get into that later. But he spoke on black crime. I like. So Charlie Kirk here, hey, my people ain't finna kill me. But in reality, anytime these mass shootings, these school shootings, these fucking snipers, these people who assassinate political figures and presidents, they aren't us. We already be having enough shit to worry about. We ain't killing no presidents. We ain't doing no extra shit. That ain't us. That be them. And I don't think Charlie Kirk thought for a moment that he was gonna be a victim of any of that shit. Charlie Kirk in his head thought, hey, my biggest enemy is probably gonna be a black person or somebody, or any person of color who don't look like me, or transgender person. He probably ain't think a straight white male, Christian male would be the person who kill him. But that just goes to show you the stereotypes you like to put on people. But like I said, when you doing what he doing, you signing a contract. You know what I'm saying? When you're promoting propaganda for certain sides, you signing a contract. That's the life you live in. Yeah, you might not be in the streets, but politics, government is worse than the streets. You see what they doing in Gaza? You see, like, politics is worse than the streets. You know, they like to demonize, like, the poor hustler. They like to demonize the poor stick-up kid. But the type of things that they just done throughout history, just governments countries in general is 10 times worse than the average, hoodlum in your city. The average little bad YN in your city. The average whatever. When you see how they shooting at kids in Gaza and all the kids doing is trying to get food, that's sinister shit. But they demonize the little shit over here, but that's another conversation. Point is, when you promoting agendas, especially at that level, bro, you signing a contract. I wish Charlie Kirk, I would really wish he would have used his platform not too much spit stereotypes and misinformation to grow division. I wish he ain't did that shit because he had a platform. Honestly, I feel like when this Trump era over with, I feel like a lot of these people who riding this whole wave, this whole MAGA wave, I feel like they gonna fall off and they gonna go into, you feel me? Because a lot of people who in MAGA now didn't fuck with Trump prior to him being the president. So I don't know. I feel like I wish he would have used his wood for some other shit. But like I said, Charlie Kirk ain't expect somebody who like him to kill him. You know what I'm saying? But I don't. Charlie Kirk wasn't he wasn't an ally. The nigga constantly, that's all he talked about was divisive shit. Like I said, you can't force a motherfucker to be sad about somebody who didn't like them. If I caught on fire right now, Charlie Kirk wouldn't spit on me. You know what I'm saying? So, fuck I'm crying for. I'm not finna cry about some random fucking celebrity crime. I'm not finna make an exception for him. That don't even make sense. Like, people want to bring God and this and that into it. This ain't nothing to do with God at all. Because Charlie Kirk, the same motherfucker who said we have to make necessary sacrifices to keep our gun laws. Don't pick and choose when you want to be godly and Christian. Because he showed the fuck did. Like, he liked to shout Christianity and this and that. But just like every other damn Christian, they pick and choose when they want to act like, you know what I'm saying, they're Christian. So, but I ain't gonna count, like, what really left a distaste in my mouth, bro? It's like, oh shit, bro. Like, these black people who up here defending Charlie Kirk. Like, I'm not saying to celebrate to hip parade this man Dove, but it's people out here who never watched a Charlie Kirk video for real prior to this whole situation. It's people who don't follow politics, don't know what the fuck going on in the world, don't know anything, but trying to defend him off the basis of, well, it doesn't matter. Bro, if you died or if a black figure died or anybody on the other side would have died, Charlie Kirk wouldn't have fucking did shit. He wouldn't have posted your ass. He wouldn't have said R.I.P. Especially if another black person would have killed you, the next day he would have been talking about black on black crime. Charlie Kirk wouldn't have give a fuck or shit about, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, why is motherfuckers trying to go so hard, trying to defend this man? I mean, this man's whole career was about talking shit and dividing people that look like you. You know what I'm saying? You know, and it's another thing. Like, I don't like as an African American, like, black people, we know our problems in our community. But the thing is, like, I hate the fact that despite any of black intellectuals or black people in general speaking on the problems in our communities, a lot of people don't hear them, or a lot of people don't give a fuck, and only feel validation when a white person says it. A white person can say the same thing a black person been telling a motherfucker for years. But for some reason, you have some coons out there who really only feel like things are valid when they're coming out of a white man mouth. And my thing is, they take certain Charlie clip videos and they say, well, he got a point, blah, 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 he got a point. But in reality, they take snips and clips of the video, but they don't show the other part to where he was just saying a whole bunch of bullshit prior to that. So it's like, okay, yeah, Charlie Kirk can make certain points, but a lot of his points are exaggerated. And a lot of people who do what he do, they speak on certain subject matters, but it's not from a standpoint of, hey, constructive criticism. It's more of, hey, I just get paid to talk shit about y'all. So it's not about me offering solutions. It's not about me trying to offer a helping hand. It's about me just talking shit. Him, Candace Owens, and so many other people have made a lane just about talking shit, spreading the vision. So my thing is, we know our problems in our community, but what we can't do and what we shouldn't do is use somebody who hate our community and who don't give a fuck about our community as the spokesperson to who we need to look up to in order to get our shit together. Because they're not saying that shit from a constructive criticism point of view. Because if something happened right now and Trump sent all black folk back to the cotton fields, Charlie Kirk would be one of the first people in agreement with the bill. So Charlie Kirk was never saying anything out of positivity, out of helping black people. It was straight division and just shit talking. So I just hate the fact that a lot of ignorant black folks don't learn about their intellectuals, don't follow their intellectuals. But the minute they see social media races, they say, well, you got a point, you got a point. It's like it's something with the black mind that just feel like shit isn't validated unless somebody who doesn't look like them tell them it's right. It's like, and it's fucked up that it's like that, but it's something with the black mind for a lot of people. Not everybody, because I'm not like that. But it's a problem a lot of people have to where they feel like it's not validation unless it's coming from somebody who doesn't look like them. Because Charlie Kirk is the type of person who will tell you the numbers on black crime is, or black on black murders is, 80 whatever percent. But he won't tell you it's the same for white men. Because in reality, murders are going to happen most frequently between people who live within the same community. Meaning if it's a black community over here and there's a white community over here, the black community is more, on average, is going to kill more people than their same community versus going all the way over here to the white community and killing people in the white community. And the same goes for white people. They're on average are more going to kill the people in their community, in their, area, versus going over to a black community and killing them. But when we talk about racial motivated crimes specifically done out of racial motivated things, they lead the charts. So not only would Charlie Kirk, only not brass, like thoroughly explain these points, he would give out half truths to serve his purposes. Not only would he do that, bro, like he would just say shit. He would just say shit because he know people at the moment is not gonna fact check them. But like I said, he got paid to spread the vision, so his shit wasn't about constructive criticism. His shit wasn't about just simply he was trying to promote propaganda. It's one thing to be critical, but people can't act like Charlie Kirk wasn't out here just promoting like Eurocentrism and white nationalism. We can't just act like he just was just criticizing the negatives. We can't just pretend like he dead ass wasn't saying shit like he don't trust the black people to fight his airplane. He don't trust black air pilots. Like, what is wrong with the mind to the point to where they think that because you being black, you qualified for this DEI program that let you skip flight school and just let you be a pilot? Once again, if I'm a black pilot, that means nine times out of 10, I'm competing with a pool of majority white men. Some who may have connections already, some who may not. Like I said, if it's 60, 70% of one person's, and the other person's only make up 13%, statistically, if 10 people applied, the 8 majority has a better chance of getting the job than the 2 minority. So DEI comes in and says, hey, not only can you not discriminate against, people based on race, but it's not just for race, it's for genders, for so many other factors. It's just to level the playing fields. And in reality, a lot of these top positions are still controlled by white men. Corporate America is still ran by white men. A lot of these, top positions at these factories on here are white men. I don't know why people try to put on this whole persona of people just grabbing positions unqualified and acting like it was just a crisis going on. Like they make up crisis and they exaggerate crisis. I don't know one black person who got their job because of DEI and they weren't qualified. I don't know one black person at all. So yeah, I just it just fucked me up, bro. It just fucked me up. But when I see like black people really just ride dick like that, ride dick for people who wouldn't give a fuck, and it goes back to plantation days. You always gonna have that Uncle Records ass nigga. You always gonna have that house nigga, bro. Who gonna ride dick because he think he gonna eventually get the table. He gonna get a seat at the table with the master. And when they get close to the seat, eventually they get reminded, you still an outsider. We see it all the time. We seen it with Nick Fuentes check Candace Owens and call her a token. Yes, a black woman conservative who made a career speaking down on the black community did a interview with Nick Fuentes, a very racist. He 10 times worse than Charlie Kirk. Goddamn, but they did an interview and he put her in her place basically, and told her that at the end of the day she's still a black woman. What you saying is null and void. He called her a token. It just goes to show you that at the end of the day, these black people who feel like they can talk shit about the black community as a way to get paid, you know what I'm saying? Because it's a difference, like I said, it's the difference between offering constructive criticism and just shit talking. Candace Owens was a shit talker. You never heard of Candace Owens having no foundations based on underprivileged communities. You never heard of Candace Owens giving back to no underprivileged communities. You never heard of Candace Owens giving back to no fucking Boys and Girls Club. You never heard of Candace Owens giving out turkeys in no motherfucking hood. You never heard of Candace Owens doing a fucking book bag drive. You never heard of Candace Owens doing nothing, bro, besides shit talking. A lot of people build their careers off of shit talking because in the era when Candace Owens was coming up, that was the era to where, hey, we can't say crazy shit. Republican or Democrat. We can't say crazy shit. But we can get black people to say the shit that we really want to say about black people. And Candace Owens was one of them people who came during the era when racists couldn't say what they wanted to say. So they would get people of that color to say all the fuck shit that they wanted to say about that people. And Candace Owens was that people. And now that we live in an era to where this administration promotes certain shit, these people feel more like they feel more entitled to, say crazy shit. They don't have a need for Candace Owens no more. It's like, I can say what I want now. I don't need you to say shit for me no more. I can say what the fuck I want without getting criticized. You feel me? Candace Owens, I don't need you no more. And Nick Fuentes was an example of her letting her know, like, you still an outsider at the end of the day. You feel me? And there's a lot of Uncle Ruckuses who get checked by these people and let them know you still an outsider. And I don't see. That's why I don't understand why people try to ride the coattails of whiteness, thinking that they gonna get a seat at the table. Cause the shit never really works at the end of the day. Because when life crashed and Brian, I just look at O.J. Simpson, bro. At the end of the day, when O.J. Simpson cut himself off from black people and said he not black, he O.J., bro. And black folk wasn't fucking with him, he ain't had nobody at the end. But black folk, too forgiving, like with the Charlie Kirk shit. Black folks, obviously we the ones who keep his name alive in a positive manner anyways. But when he was during his time of his fuck shit, he wasn't getting celebrated. You feel me? So when the other community stopped fucking with these tokens, it's over for them. This nigga had to steal back his own shit towards the end of his fucking life, bro. They disassociate from their people. They try to ride the coattails of other people and other groups and other, economic levels. And once they done with them, they spit their ass out. They have nobody else. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like we got a problem with black tokens, and then go back to plantation days, bro. You have people who love to shout Democrat plantation, but in reality, bro, anybody who still think this shit is Democrat versus Republican are on the plantation, regardless of what you know what I'm saying, associate with. You feel me? Real shit. Like, I don't like speaking on Charlie Kirk. This probably the last time I say about that nigga. I don't like how they trying to like use him as he was like the white Martin Luther King or something. Like, this nigga ain't did nothing in America besides spit misinformation. Like, all due respect, like, you can say he was a figure of freedom of speech, cool. But they try to paint him as his patriotic revolutionary is crazy when all he did was go to college campuses and debate kids. It's like they try to use every little thing. It's like they so hungry, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's desperate at this point. Like, but anyway though, like, I want to get back on black conservatives, bro. Black conservatives. Like, I did that. Got them one conservative partner, bro. And I thought this nigga was coming around. You know what I'm saying? Like, in the beginning, this nigga was a big ass Trump supporter. You know what I'm saying, bro? At this time, bro, I would tell him about shit like Friday 2025 and that's not real and Trump don't not that blah blah blah. And it's like step by step, month by month, that shit I'm telling him is coming true. And like all the MAGA supporters, they gotta keep coming up with excuses. But then as shit keep growing with this Epstein and Israel shit, it's like he kind of snap out of it and say fuck Trump. Like, it wasn't because Trump had a bunch of, different ideas for certain racial supremacy, taking out black history, and it wasn't because all the other crazy shit he was doing, but it was because of Israel Epstein. Like, that was a tipping point. Like, Epstein is some fucked up shit, and we can get into that later, but, I mean, bro, like, the fact that this nigga was dog whistling racist shit the whole time, and lied about some of the other shit outside of social political shit, like economic shit, bro. That should have gave you red flags then, but you had to take for this Epstein shit and your hate for Israel to make you snap out of it, bro. Which he's still a MAGA supporter, but the nigga just ain't hardcore. But point is, bro, the nigga is so ignorant when it comes to black history, bro. And that's another thing. A lot of black conservatives who like take the Candace Owens route of just shit talking don't know black history. When you watch that Nick Fuentes interview, bro, her ass she couldn't defend herself, because like I said, Nick Fuentes basically was just calling her like, you still below me, and she couldn't defend herself. He was shit talking about African history. She didn't know anything about African history to have any rebuttals. You know what I'm saying? A lot of those people lack the knowledge of self. That's the reason it's so easy for them to just hate on people that look like them. You know what I'm saying? It's so easy. Like, they don't know anything about self. And instead of a motherfucker taking the time to learn about world history period, African history, motherfucker take all his time to learn about Jews and what Jews control this and what Jews control that. Which, I mean, like, at the top level, like, we know there's certain people who control this shit. We know there's certain people behind certain shit. Like, I'm not obnoxious to that, but at the same time, This nigga will go back and blame the reason the dinosaurs extinct on fucking Jews, bro. It's like at a certain point, bro, that shit is sick. Like you like the same motherfuckers, black people have this victim mentality. Nigga, you blame all the world problems. If a hurricane hit right now, you gonna say the Jews bought a weather machine. You know what I'm saying? So, like, what the fuck be black conservatives' obsession with denying like or radical right races, but quick to admit that Jews are the reason behind everything. They will ride dick for a Charlie Kirk, but be overly woke when it comes to Jewish people. Like, what is that? What is that? Like, I don't understand. And it's like, in the black community, we don't look at Jewish people as oppressors. We don't look at Jewish people as somebody who, like, you know, that bothers us now. On the top level, like I said, we know certain people who control certain shit and play the part of certain shit, but we don't go around and be like, had to be a Jew. We don't do that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? But the more common people who do that shit, or just white people, like, you know, they ain't blaming immigrants, gay people, black people for like lower level bullshit. If they want to blame like the top of the top, they gonna blame Jewish people. You know what I'm saying? Like, they blame Jewish people. I'm not saying all, but the, you know, super racist, Confederate type of thinking people, Jews are like the top of the top. Blacks are on in the mix because we are here in their face. But at the top level, they believe Jews are the reason for all the evilness in the world. So it's like he convinced himself that a lot of the black struggles and problems throughout history were made up and was just victim mentality shit. But he adopted the idea that Jews are the reason for everything because the people that he want to associate himself with, which I feel like bro got, you know, identity issues, inner issues. He feel like, you know, adopting his mindset is gonna get him closer to whiteness. He want to be able to be that one black nigga to get a compliment from a white dude of saying like, oh, you different. You not like other black people. He want that compliment like that. He want that justification. You know what I'm saying? He want to see that at the table with Nick Fuentes. You know, so he adopt those far right wing, you know, ideologies. Right, and he adopted the Jew as the oppressor. But it just amazed me, like, damn, bro, like, you would sit here and deny, like, basic history, basic shit that a lot of them people will call critical race theory when it's just common sense. You know what I'm saying? You would deny a lot of this shit and call it victim mentality. But you would sit here and blame these people for every single thing. Like, we got into an argument about motherfucking colonialism. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, you know, Rothschild, so-and-so, help fund certain shit. We understand that, cool. But when you break down, like, colonial history in the times, when you break down Spain, Portugal, Britain, and all the other colonial powers around that time, right? You know, they all had their monarchs. A lot of the time, back then, the church still had a lot to say so when it came to certain shit, right? So, a lot of these different entities were just powerful, Germanic, Anglo-Saxon people, whatever the case is, you know, which primarily make up what we consider Western Europe. A lot of these elite people, you know what I'm saying? The British family is of German background. They not of Jewish background, you know, so a lot of these people were rulers of Western Europe. And for some reason, in his head, he believed you can't blame those Western civilizations from that era for the evils of colonialism. Because in his head, Jews put a gun to the monarchs of those days and convinced them to colonize places. It's not their fault that they colonize places. It's the Jews' fault. Like, I'm just getting y'all to see, like, the type of way he be thinking about shit. You know what I'm saying? So he making excuses for Charlie Kirk. He making excuses for a lot of things and call it black victimhood and shit like that. But he registered all bad shit is just being the faults of Jews. You know what I'm saying? And it goes like, who really the victim? You know what I'm saying? Like, we know it's some fuck shit going on in Gaza and shit. Like, I'm aware of that. But to sit here and scapegoat certain things that happen in history and try to blame it on these group of people, trying to figure out, well, fuck, a Jew invested into his business, so even though his business did this fuck shit, a Jew invested into it, so technically the Jew is the reason why he did this. Like the, like that type of shit is crazy, bro. That type of shit is crazy, bro. Like, we know shit get deep, but to try to scapegoat everything as Jews doing it, bro, is insane, bro. It's actually insane. The non-actual history in American history, a bunch of shit that happened that caused the effects of a lot of shit, but trying to sit here and act like these people, and you don't know shit about real history. Don't know shit about real history. Don't know shit about ancient Judea. Don't know shit about ancient Europe, medieval Europe. Don't know shit about medieval Africa. And you don't know anything about none of this shit. Your history of the world goes back to like the late 1800s. You know what I'm saying? And it just amazes me. You can do that, all that research, and try to find who owned what, but can't do research about selling. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't understand, like, why do a lot of those black far right blacks go up that whole rabbit hole and adopt that whole identity. You know, it be to the point to where they damn near fucking mustache men disciples at a certain point. Like, hey, you know he ain't like black people either, right? You know, so it's like at a certain point it's like, damn, my nigga, like, what's going on? Like, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I just hate that shit. A lot of black conservatives go down that whole lane. It's a lot of times it's not about just policy. It's a lot about trying to prove to the world that they different from other black people, or they different from the stereotypes. You know, I feel like honestly anybody who voted MAGA this year or this last election is ignorant. If you convince yourself you voted for economy, you the biggest motherfucking fool. You the biggest motherfucking fool. But a lot of people voted for surface level reasons that I ain't gotta get into. But yeah, man. And I hate how they paint this picture of like liberal and conservatism, and I hate how they try to make all Democrats liberals and all liberals Democrats. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not like that. You don't have to be a liberal and be Democrat. You don't have to be a Democrat to be liberal. In actuality, most black people are conservative at heart. Yes, we are very accepting, but you know, a lot of black households are conservative. We don't grow up like, you know what I'm saying, indulging in a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? A lot of black parents are conservative to a certain distinct. But the problem in America, conservative looks at the world as not just quote unquote good ethnic things, things from back in the day that were just considered good morally, but they also just look at things as that's just how the world was. So when they say conservative, they don't just mean, hey, bring back going to church on Sundays. No, they mean bring back being able to say nigger and shit like that. You feel me? Bring back being able to have dominance over certain things. Bring back being able to have more credit on my white privilege card. You know what I'm saying? That's what they mean a lot of times when they say make America great again. But at heart, a lot of black people are conservative. But like I said, in America, a lot of people try to mix the problems of black people with liberal issues because a lot of people look at black equality as liberalism and not just, you know, hey, regular stuff. And so a lot of times black issues get mixed up into liberalism. So people always try to make this connection to black and liberal when in actuality a lot of black households aren't liberal. at all. You know what I'm saying? A lot of black households aren't liberal, for real. Um, the problem is conservative means more than just going to church on Sunday. It means more than just morals. It means more than just doing shit the old fashioned way. Sadly, conservative in America has racial undertones. You know what I'm saying? So when people say conservative, it's always this dog whistle with it. It's not just like I said, good ethnics, morals and shit like that, bro. It's not that, bro. Like how they try to make it seem, it's just about home cooked meals and going to church and being a good person. No, my nigga, it's about dominance and power and being able to feel like you better than the next person and being able to feel like you are more dominant than the next. That's all that shit really be about, bro. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, they always try to mix liberalism with black issues and try to make black people black equality. They always try to make black equality seem like it's just liberalism, when no, just it's just human decency in reality, right? So like this goes back to this shooter situation. This administration was so quick, media politicians were so quick to name this a liberal situation. They was trying so quick to name the shooter a Democrat, the shooter a liberal, when actually they haven't found the shooter. They don't know any motives. Back to the theories of Charlie Kirk goddamn being set up by his own people. So it goes just to show you, bro. It goes to show you, bro, this liberal and conservative shit means nothing. It's a fucking game that they play, that the elites play. And the elites are not just Jews. The elites are Jews, not all, but elite Jews are these elite white billionaires, elite, and it's not just white and Jews. It's elites from all different nationalities and parts of the world. You know what I'm saying? But it's these elites that own these big companies. You feel me? Who look at the world like a big fucking board game, bro. And the easiest way to keep on raising rent, the easiest way to keep on raising groceries, the easiest way to keep on certain they dominance and changing the Constitution and saying fuck the Constitution is keeping us fighting. Point blank period, bro. Point blank period. That's all it is, bro. And they gonna keep winning and working, bro. They gonna keep winning and working. They gonna keep winning. It's too easy at this point, bro. That's the reason they want to that's the reason they want to take away education and shit, bro. They want people to be ignorant of the past. They want people to be ignorant of the schemes that they using from the 1800s. They don't want people to know, the government already did this shit before to divide people. They don't want people to already have that reference in their head. That's the reason they going so hard to try to get rid of education and shit, bro. And just try to limit what kids learn in schools nowadays. Yeah, man, that shit too easy at this point, bro. That shit way too easy. And where I'm at with it. But yo. But yeah, but back to the black liberals and shit, bro. You have black liberals, but I personally feel like majority of black people aren't really liberal. We just don't be giving a fuck about other shit. Like, your gayness don't affect me. Like, yeah, some people who just super anti-gay, but for the most part, your gayness don't affect me, bro. Or your weirdness, your difference about you don't affect me. Your skin color don't affect me. So I don't really care. We don't wake up. We already be having enough shit going on. Like, the last thing is waking up worried about what another motherfucker like. You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga ain't going that deep to go into town hall meetings trying to get laws because we don't like how another motherfucker pray or talk. That's not the shit that we do. You feel me? That's old miserable people shit. People who want to feel like they better than somebody. People who have this, inferior complex of becoming the minority. That's the reason they got this whole emphasis on trying to deport Hispanics, because Hispanics are supposed to eventually become the majority, within the next, I think, probably 100 years. I think within like 200-300 years, America gonna be like a big mulatto place, like damn Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic type shit. You know what I'm saying? Or like Madagascar or something, like just overly mixed. You know what I'm saying? And you have people who cling on to this pure Aryan shit. You got and it's not only them, just people who just cling on to being just pure black or pure whatever the case is. But you got people who cling on to these ideas, and they believe it's race preservation, which is the fucking stupidest shit ever. I feel like once humans actually unite and get together and stop looking at differences, that's when we gonna actually become a higher tier civilization. But you got people who believe in these peer races and shit like that, bro, and they try to do things now to try to limit the influx of certain people coming in. This is ironic. The countries that colonize the majority of the world ain't colonized now, but it's not through warships or slavery. It's not through guns. No, it's through immigration and sneaking ass over there. Yeah, what it is though. You feel me? But like I said, I think as black people, we gotta do a better chance to actually learn about intellectuals being tapped in. We need to stop trying to take validation from people who don't give a fuck about us. Because a motherfucker can have a point, but I don't mean a motherfucker mean well by that shit. And people need to learn how to fact check and do their own research instead of just trying to believe certain stereotypes, believe certain headlines. Because at the end of the day, it's about rich versus poor. So the easiest thing to do to distract people, to stop people from figuring out what's really going on, is to divide. We got things coming out about aliens, and I probably need to react to some alien shit. We got shit coming about aliens. We got shit coming about the Epstein shit. We got shit, like, so much shit just coming out, bro. But because we so worried about shit that niggas been worried about for the past 300 years, bro, like, we can't focus. This shit is about division, bro. This shit is about division. You know what I'm saying? Yes, we got our problems, we know our issues, but so do any other community. But like I said, as black people, we can't take advice or only feel like validation should come from people who don't look like us, especially people who hate us. What did that look like to us if we mentally got something grand in their head that tells us we not doing something right unless, somebody who don't look like us tell us we doing it right? It's like, boom, like you got a child, right? And another parent can be telling your child right, but you don't want another parent yelling at your child, even if they telling your child right. It's how you go about this shit. You feel me? It's about where it's coming from. Or you just yelling at my child because you just miserable, because you just being nasty, or you know what I'm saying? So I just feel like we skip so much of our own beauty. We skip so much of our own intellectual history out of ignorance, out of not knowing we half-ass know shit. And the minute we hear a little bit of something that sound interesting, we just cling on to it without doing research. And it's easy for people to cling on to races and just different people with crazy ideologies because they don't do the research. You don't know about your future unless you know about your past. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to know about anything unless you know about the past. And people want to skip over history, bro. People want to... Bro, humans have been on Earth for over 300,000 years. Colonization, this whole transatlantic slavery shit, bro, happened in, like, the late 1600s. Started, for the most part, the 1600s, right? So... it's only been about 400 years of this. People think history start at the transatlantic slave trade. People not knowing about all the many powers that have existed before Western Europe became the powers it became to be to this day. Because they don't want to know. People not knowing about how literature, how philosophy, how art rise from a lot of places in Africa, a lot of places in West Asia, and made itself over to the Greeks and the Romans and eventually West Europe. Things get rediscovered in the world. Things get adopted. But people don't learn history at all. So they take things on the face value because a lot of times people knowledge of the world only goes back to 400 years ago, bro. It started at the slave trade. It starts at the point of history to where Western Europe become global powers. People don't go that far back into history. You know what I'm saying? So it's easy for a motherfucker to convince them of anything. For real, for real. But like I said, as a community, we know our problems, but or you don't, you know what I'm saying, seek validation from a motherfucker who don't give a fuck about you. That's my whole thing. Feel me?